Ralphie to the rescue. I wish there were a Ralphie who could rescue our not-for-profit theaters that are in trouble. And there's never been a Ralph that stepped forward that I know of. Ralph Raxperar is still at sea on the HMS Pinafore, and Ralph Cramden doesn't have any money. You can tell from that apartment. You'd think with Alice Cramden staying home all day, she'd do something with that apartment. And Ralph Waldo Emerson has never given us a dime, so when you go to a not-for-profit theater, you often hear your ticket pays for only 25% of our costs. And so, see if you can do something to make it a little easier for them. And while we're talking about money, I think it was less than 25% of the cost that you paid tonight for your tickets. So I'm not going to say if you can find it in your hearts to donate to us, but if you can find it in your brains, hands, and checkbooks at the same time, well, as Billy Bigelow says, that'd be all right too. I'll tell you somebody who does come to our rescue all the time, and the story starts in 1968, when the Broadway producer Harry Rigby said to one of the leading theatrical agents in New York, I think you should meet Dorothy Loudon. I think you two would get along very nicely. Did they ever? For 35 years, until her untimely death in 2003, he was her agent when she was there in Annie, Ballroom, and Noises Off. Now, if you never saw Dorothy, try YouTube, listen to the cast albums, and she lives on through these awards because she's been very generous to us, and so has the executor, Lionel Larner.
Good evening. So nice to be here. Well, what a great season we've had. So many wonderful plays, so many wonderful performances. I went to see The Little Foxes last week for the second time with the alternate cast. They were wonderful. Each night, the first night, the second time, both performances by Laura Linney and Cynthia Nixon, Richard Thomas, outstanding. But while I was seeing the play, I recalled a story, a true story, that happened with the revival of The Little Foxes with Elizabeth Taylor in Washington. Elizabeth Taylor was playing Regina, and Maureen Stapleton playing Birdie. And they were in Washington, and they got a call from the White House saying that President Reagan and Mrs. Reagan would like to see the play. Well, Lillian Hillman, the playwright, was a staunch Democrat, and she hated the Republicans, and she hated Reagan. So she said, absolutely no way. So the producers knew that a picture of Elizabeth Taylor and Ronald Reagan, front page of the New York Post, would bring a lot of tickets to the box office when they got to New York. So they asked Elizabeth Taylor and they asked Maureen Stapleton if she would prevail on Lillian and talk some sense to her. So Elizabeth said to Lillian Hellman, Elizabeth, you have a percentage of the gross as the author of this play, and think of it not as you hating the Reagans, but them putting money in your pocket because we will do good business. So reluctantly, she agreed under great duress, and they placed Lillian Hellman between Maureen Stapleton on the left and Elizabeth Taylor on the right, and they were all required to remain on stage after the performance. The president arrived and he walked down making his niceties, and then Mrs. Reagan came along and she got to Maureen and she said, now I should tell you that Maureen was once married to a very successful general manager who liked the ladies, and his name was Max Allentag. And Nancy got to Maureen and she said, good evening, Maureen. So Maureen said, good evening, Nancy. And then she went on to Lillian Hellman, who grunted, and she moved on to Elizabeth Taylor. And Lillian Hellman leapt around and said, you know her. So I said, no, I don't know her. She said, no, you know her. She said, I don't know her. She said, you called her Nancy. She said, well, she called me Maureen, so I called her Nancy. She said, no, you know her. And Maureen said, no, I don't know her. Max fucked her, so I feel I know her. Before I became legitimate, working as Otto Premier's casting director on the motion picture of St. Joan, I worked for a vaudeville agent, and we had a lot of specialty acts, people like Peppino and his miniature circus. And those people knew that when they got out there, they had to grab the audience 30 seconds or else they'd get the hook. Well, it's different with actors. With actors, what is it that compels us to watch one actor? Talent? Sure. Star quality? When Noel Coward was asked, what is star quality? He replied, I don't know what star quality is, but I know I've got it. When an actor with this magic and charisma is on stage, it's as though the lights have been bumped up a notch, and when they leave the stage, we miss them. Katrina Lenk is one of those actors. Ben Brantley in the New York Times called her performance in The Band's Visit off-Broadway, soon to come to Broadway, a knockout performance, and he compared her to Anouk Annie and Simone Signoret. I can't think of a greater compliment. She's giving you that magic again, nightly, on Broadway this time, at the Court Theatre in Indecent. It is my great privilege to present the 2017 Dorothy Loudon Award for Excellence in the Theatre to Katrina Lenk.